Hey everybody, Sean Holsinger here from holsingerflyshop.com. Bringing another fly time video, and it's a caddis pattern. And guys, I know I do a lot of caddis patterns. There's a reason, there's a lot in my area. And so I'm always kind of playing around with caddis patterns and trying to find one that I like. And you know, there's a lot that I like. I like to use my dry dropper caddis for dry dropper fishing, obviously. The one I'm tying today is more if if there's a caddis hatch on and I want to fish a caddis, or this would be a great one for the Granum hatch, which will be coming up here in a couple months in our area. Tie a little egg on the back if you want to, and obviously tie them a little bit smaller for the Granums. You're going to be looking more 16, 14s. I'm going to tie this in a 12, but this would actually be good colors for the Granum too. But this is more of a, if you're targeting the caddis hatch, this is the pattern that I would fish for it. And it's a quick caddis. That's what we're calling it, the quick caddis, because I can tie it pretty quickly. I can hammer them out, and they're simple. So, I'm even trying to cheat on the dubbing by using a pre-dubbed yarn. This is dry fly Polyyarn from Semperfli. Really cool stuff. Comes in a bunch of different colors, and you can make a really nice even body with it. That's one of the great things about it, especially for beginners. They can double body, be, totally even the whole way across the body just by making nice side-by-side wraps, and you're not going to get it too big. So I really suggest trying that, especially if you're a beginner. Look into that dry fly Polyyarn. That will help you out a lot. So let's get into tying the fly, guys. Here you're going to see the fly in the vise and then the material list to tie it. Okay, here we see this caddis pattern in the vise. Pretty cool looking. Not that hard to tie, so let's get into tying it. For a hook, I'm using a Firehole 419. This one I'm actually tying in a size 12. Tie it in 14, 16s. Just easy for video to do it in a size 12. For thread, I'm using 140 olive. You could use brown, black, whatever you want. I just had olive on the spool, so that's what I'm using. So I'm going to wrap that back up towards the head, and I'm going to wrap it right towards the eye just a little bit so it doesn't ride forward whenever I put the deer hair on. Next thing I'm going to do is cut out a little clump of deer hair, which I already had prepped and in my hair stacker. So we'll just pull that out, get all our tips lined up there and the same length. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip them around in my hand. Oops. And get them all pinched down. And I want them out over about the length of the hook shank, out over the eye there. So I'm just going to pinch them in my fingers, get it up on top, about an eye length behind. Try to keep them up on top of the hook there best you can. And then pinch them, and then progressively pinch them tighter. So start out with a loose wrap or two and then tighten it down. Then we're going to trim these butts off. And I'm going to trim this hair right here behind the cut down as best I can, so it transitions nice. And I got a straggler there. And then we're just going to pull these up over the end here, and then I'm going to wrap this down to get my body started down here. Okay, now you see how long I left that? That's about where I'm going to stop my body at. For the body material, I'm going to use some dry fly Polyyarn. This is Caddis gray and brown. And we're just going to tie that on right there where I stopped my deer hair. Wrap that back to the bend. And I'm going to bring my thread back up. And this just makes a really nice, simple, quick body. So we're just going to wrap that forward, side by side wraps. Keeping it nice and thin. And you can see, gives me a nice mottled little look there to the body. And then we can tie that off and trim. That's a butt section there, so we're going to cut that off. Next thing I'm going to do is take some natural, this is Mallard Cul de Canard duck CDC, and this is the natural color. Okay, so we're going to I'm going to put 2 of them side by side, the same length, and I'm going to pinch them down in my fingers like that. Then I'm going to lay this on top, and I want this is going to become part of the wing, and I want that to go right over the butt of this fly. So we're just going to hold that on top and tie it down right where I ended my body. And then we're going to trim this off. And now, you can see here underneath I got my thread showing. So we're going to cover up that thread. I'm going to take some of the fibers off that CDC feather, and I'm going to dub them on to my thread here. So this is just going to make a nice little natural dub thorax here. So I just have to wet that a little bit, and I got a little bit too much on here, but that's fine. I'm going to make about 2 wraps behind, alright, and then I'm going to take and I'm going to pull up this deer hair, and I'm going to wrap in front of it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these, I'm going to pull them back, and I'm going to wrap right in front of it, and I'm going to try to get 1 or 2 wraps right up on the deer hair, just to hold it down, to push it back over that CDC right like that. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to finish up this head with a little bit more of that CDC. Yeah, I need a little bit more than that. So I'm just going to take one of these feathers, pull the fluff off the bottom, and dub it on my thread again. There we go. Now we're just going to build a nice little head right up on there and tie it off, and that's all that's to it. So we'll just whip finish this. I like to put like 2, 3, or 4 wrap whip finishes on there. I don't use cement that much. You could if you want to, but if you get 2 nice wraps on there, you're good. And there you can see you got a nice little caddis. Pull everything up on top, make sure it's where it needs to be. Got a stray hair. There we go, nice little caddis. It'll fish well for you. Okay guys, I hope you liked that pattern. It was really easy. You know, it only took me 5 or 6 minutes to tie something like that. I can hammer a bunch of them out and you know, and be fishing in no time, which is, I love tying, don't get me wrong, but I'd rather be fishing, so I'd rather be out on the water using my flies than tying the flies. But that's just me. Maybe you just like to tie, maybe you don't even fish. So, hey, whatever you like to do. This is just a nice simple pattern. Like I say all the time, I tie generic. I like to teach techniques over patterns. So mess around with the colors, match the hatch in your area. Go with more of an orange for an October caddis if you're trying to get an October caddis. You know, there's a lot of different colors that this dry fly polyyarn comes in. Don't think that you have to use the dry fly polyyarn either. Use dubbing material, whatever kind of dubbing material you have. Dry fly dubbing would work better because this is a dry fly, you know, something that's not going to soak on a bunch of water and sink the fly. We don't want that. So also guys, just as a word of caution, you're using CDC feathers in this. I really like high and dry. The high and dry gel, you just put a little bit of it on your fingers, rub your fingers together, and then you take the fly and you hold it in your other finger and you just dust it on the finger. Like, remember I said you're putting the gel on this finger, rubbing it in, and it's putting a film on that finger. You just brush that film into the CDC fibers. Don't soak it into the CDC fibers. Something like aqua gel from Loon is going to soak them CDC fibers up, make them all tight, and it's going to sink like a rock. So you're going to need something like high and dry or something like that to help float your fly a lot better. But other than that, guys, have fun tying, have fun fishing. If you got any questions or comments, drop them down there in the bottom in the comments section. I love responding to you. You guys have been giving me a lot of comments lately. That's great. And if you want to get in touch with me personally, if you'd like to order some of these flies, holsingersflyshop@gmail.com. If you just email this address right here, you get in touch with me personally, and I can answer any questions you have or anything like that. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for supporting us here at holsingersflyshop.com. You know, we really appreciate it, and all you've done for us over the past couple of years. So thanks for watching. Until next week, I'm Sean Holsinger.